Hey everyone, welcome to devlog number 5. My name is Matthew and I'm an indie dev at PillBugGames. We're working on Drop Command, which is a brand new mech combat game with playable infantry, tanks, mechs, aircraft, and lots more. I have a lot of awesome new content to show you today, so let's get started. I split the video into 3 segments. First, what's new in Drop Command, then we'll talk about what our latest game design challenges are, and then we'll wrap up with talking about what's coming next for Drop Command. So let's talk about what's new. There are 4 major additions that I want to go over, and those are a graphical update where we have improved the overall atmosphere and the game feel, a UI update which includes a new targeting computer, weapons readouts, and a visual health system, and unit spawning, which is the ability to bring reinforcements to the battlefield using dropships. Dropships are, after all, the first part of the inspiration for the title Drop Command. And finally, we have unit organization and command structure. Individual units are now organized into groups called squads, and squad level commands can be issued by the player and by the AI squad leaders. So let's go into a little bit more detail now. The graphical update has 4 main components: atmosphere, sun, clouds, and fog. We've updated the sky to use physically based rendering so that we can simulate many different atmospheres for the different planets and places that you'll find yourself doing battle. Since this game will take place across several solar systems, we also need to be able to simulate different stars, so we have added a sun to the sky, which we can later modify based on the current solar system, time of day, and planetary distances, so on. Of course, the atmosphere wouldn't be complete without a cloud system. For now, we'll leave the clouds as generic white water clouds, but later we might have a variety of cloud systems. Clouds for different planets and weather systems might be appropriate, so we'll be working on that. The most visually impactful change in the graphical update is the volumetric fog system. Now, volumetric fog adds a strong sense of depth and visual interest, and it basically just looks awesome. So, very excited to have this in the game. Our UI update comes with a much needed targeting computer. With this, you can now target friends or foes and get an update on their health status and their weapons loadout. On the battlefield, information is power. Knowing the weapons loadout of your opponent before they can unleash hell on you can give you a serious tactical edge. Sometimes the best strategy is to run away, regroup, and then take down a tough opponent with a wolf pack at your back. Knowing the weak points of your enemy can guide your aim to pick apart fragile components. Is there a badly damaged leg? Blowing it off will reduce speed and maneuverability. That heavy mech might not be so intimidating if you pick off its biggest weapons. Adding targeting computers was an important and essential piece of the combat experience, and it really brings an extra level of decision making to the moment-on-moment action. I'm very happy with how it's turning out, but there is still some work to do, and quite a bit of polish left for it. The unit spawning update allows new units to enter the battlefield over time. Before this, the only units in a battle were the units that started out in play. This is an important change because it opens the possibility for many new interactions and for evolving battlefields. One of the new interactions comes in the form of an exciting new unit that we've just added to the game. Drop Command would not be complete without dropships after all. The dropships ferry mechs and armor to the front lines, bringing reinforcements both for you, the player, and for your opponents. If you want to cut off your opponent's supply line, you can consider destroying one of their dropships. That'll certainly make a dent. Now, in the previous devlog, I set out with the goal of having VTOLs flying in formation and attacking targets as a squadron. To accomplish this, we needed to program a command structure and a command AI. Previously, each unit moved completely independently and had no interest in the whereabouts of other units, except maybe as obstacles to avoid. Now, units are organized into squads when they're spawned into the game. Each squad has only one leader at any given time. If the player unit is in the squad, then the player unit is automatically promoted to be the squad leader. Otherwise, when a squad contains only AI units, a member of the squad is promoted to the leader position. The leader is responsible for issuing orders to the units that are under its command. Orders such as attack my target, or form up on me, or change formation, or attack to this location, those sorts of things. If the leader unit is destroyed, then a new member of the squad will be promoted to take command. Units stay closer to their squad leader now, preferring not to be separated by too great a distance or for too long of a time. Later, when we add in the strategic level to the AI, the strategic AI will be responsible for sending orders to the squad leader AI, orders such as which objective the leader is responsible for, and then the leader is going to need to make the decisions to try and achieve those objectives. Okay, that's it for the main additions to the game for this devlog. Now I want to talk a little bit about the current issues and challenges that we're trying to work through. The main challenge I have right now is user interface related. I just finished adding all sorts of AI and command structure code to make squad orders a thing. Obviously, the player needs to be able to control their own squad. Currently, for the player to issue squad commands, they need to use keyboard shortcuts, and that works fine when you only have 1 or 2 commands to worry about. However, later on, there are going to be more units, many squads, overall command decisions, objectives to worry about. I'm going to need a simple, fast, intuitive method for the player to issue their orders. The early MechWarrior games, MechWarrior 2 for example, had pretty clunky, difficult to use keyboard shortcuts, which were used to navigate through nested menus and to select options. I'm going to avoid that style of cumbersome control interface as much as I can. MechWarrior 5 has a simplified and somewhat more streamlined approach to the same system. They use the function keys F1 through F4 to select lance members and issue orders directly. MechWarrior 5 makes the effort to keep the control interface intuitive, and while this is certainly an improvement over MechWarrior 2, I still find it quite clunky, and I don't like forcing the player to memorize so many keyboard shortcuts to perform a single function. Looking at MechWarrior Online, they use a radial menu system to communicate information with other players, such as spotting targets or requesting assistance. It works very well when there are only a few options to choose from. However, radial menus become quite clunky when there are too many options available, and this happens, for example, when you take company command in MechWarrior Online. So, overall, I'm tempted to use a radial menu for the squad level commands, and to deal with the problem of radial menus getting clunky when there are too many options, I would need to keep the number of squad commands minimal, to keep the UI easy to parse quickly. If you know of any examples of games with sleek intuitive command interfaces or other sources of inspiration, let me know in the comments section below. I could really use some inspirational research material. Alright, let's talk about what's next for Drop Command. Over the next month, I have a few things that I'm pretty excited to work on. First of all, there are going to be new units in the game. I'll be adding new combat units very soon. Our artist, Benjamin, has been hard at work creating new 3D models for several units. Ben has made 2 new mechs, which I'm excited to share next time, and also our first tank, which we're going to be adding to the game. I'll save details on those for next time though, and I'll focus on the new aircraft design. We're going to be adding a brand new VTOL unit. The new aircraft has a very different combat role to the current VTOL. The current VTOL is more of a fast interceptor. It's meant to get in and get out, dishing out damage and running away. The new VTOL is more heavily armed and more heavily armored, with a slower overall speed, but much more maneuverability. In terms of battlefield tactics, it's meant to get into position and control that area of the battlefield. If you're interested in seeing the making of the 3D model for the new VTOL unit, you should check out Benjamin's art devlog, where he does an awesome time-lapse and talks through his process. If you want to see more art devlogs in addition to our main devlog series, let me know and I'll see if I can convince him to make another one. Next up, I want to add a new biome. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely ready to see a new biome in the game. Deserts are cool and all, but I do like to have some variety. I haven't decided yet which biome we're going to add next, but there are a couple of options that are floating around at the top of my features list. The 3 that I am currently considering are a snowy tundra, a dense jungle, and a moonscape. If you have a biome in mind that you want to see added to the game, you can describe it in the comments section, and I might add it to our future features list. Okay, on to the more technical side of things. There are some important under-the-hood systems that I do need to sort out. These extra systems are essential to making the game exist as more than just a simple test scene with the same setup over and over again. Adding multiple scenes and seed loading are going to be necessary before I can start working on things like random terrain generation and campaign generators, and that means I need to do a little restructuring of the core game code. Part of the scene loading will include the code that sets up the sky, the sun, the lighting, the fog, the clouds, all of the atmosphere building elements. Eventually, this will all be semi-procedural. It'll be based on things like your mission location, which solar system you're currently in, which planet you're attacking or defending or exploring, the in-game time of day, and so on. For now though, I will likely just have a single preset to get the scene loading working. That'll be a fair amount of work on its own, but it is very much required for the big plans that we have moving forward. In any case, if you're enjoying these devlogs, and if you want to help support the making of Drop Command, you can always subscribe to the channel. I will have a new devlog ready for you next month, and I can't wait to have more progress to share, so take care and thanks for watching.